Hello, my name is Josh, and I'm a watchaholic. Welcome to Horology Insanity. What is up, my watch friends? So, check this out. We are still in the Christopher Ward C65 Trident trilogy of videos, and this one is going to be a comparison. So, you'll notice that I have it currently on this beautiful brown leather strap. See, I always hold it upside down. The Italian vintage oak leather 22 mil Christopher Ward strap, even though it did come on, and I do appreciate this beautiful bracelet with the quick adjust clasp and the quick release spring bars. So there's that. But what I want to do in this video is really just do some comparisons. I want to put this up next to other watches so that you can see. Now, in the review video I did, we put these side by side. I explained the difference between the auto on the left and the hand wind on the right. And you can see other than that, the bracelets and all that are all the same. Cases are all the same. We talked about that. So let me just switch it up here and show you another Christopher Ward of a different size. So I talked about in my review video, and man, that orange may not be the best way to look at that. Man, that's bright on camera. So this is a quartz. You can see even with a quartz, it's still pretty thick, right? You can see the case shape and dimensions on this. Look how much sleeker that case is on the right. And I don't know if they make a 42 mil of this C65 and what case it comes in. But yeah, the 41 mil, at least that C65, is a much smoother case shape and design to it. I would liken it to, and I'll hold it up to it in a second, the Oris Diver 65, which wears phenomenally well. But I talked about in my review video about how this 41 mil size, they make a 39. I don't have one. It would have been over here on the right, 39 mil, and then we got the 41 in the middle, and we got the 43 on the left. The 41 mil is kind of like Goldilocks. It's just right. In fact, I'm probably going to sell my 43s, even though I like them. And I have a bigger wrist. I can pull these off. But, yeah, I'm probably going to end up selling them and swapping it out. Here's another 43. Now, this is a full titanium kind of stealth. So this one definitely doesn't jump out. The orange looks a lot bigger on camera than it is. And the black actually looks a little bit smaller on camera than it is. Now you will notice, let me set that one down. This 43 case design is very similar to this 43 case design. So I don't know if these are both C60s, C something. It probably tells me on the back if I just paid attention more. Might not be easy to read. So this is a Trident Pro 600. So if you are a Christopher Ward like fan or nerd and you know what all these things are, educate me, let me know, put it down in the comments, maybe help me out if people ask questions. This is the Trident Pro 600, and then this one is Trident 300, so it doesn't say Pro, and I'm guessing the 300 is for 300 meters of water resistance. Yep, that's what it is. 300 meters of water resistance. The other one's going to be 600 meters. Again, you'll see this is a quartz. It does seem to me that the titanium one with the automatic movement is thicker. So let's get a couple measurements on that real quick. 13.5, which is really not bad. 13 is what a lot are. 12, yeah, look at that, 11 and a half. So I really appreciate sometimes, Hamilton does this. My Murph wears great. It's big like this from like a case width perspective, but it's thin. And I really like that. I like a 42 by 10 or 11 mil. That's like my sweet spot. So, but anyway, we're doing some comparisons. You can see the way that these jump off, the different case shape and design. Again, these two are the exact same case, bracelet, crown, etc. So you'll see that. Now, the other one that I wanted to compare this to, and I mentioned it a second ago, is the Oris Divers 65. And the reason I want to compare it is because these wear very similar, even though they are a little different. The Oris is looking a little smaller, and that's because it is. The Oris, there's two main reasons that it looks a little smaller. One, it is 1 mil smaller on a case diameter. And the black bezel, I think, makes it look a little smaller than the blue bezel on this right one, and the bezel kind of way that it's shaped. They both have these beautiful kind of domed or boxed sapphire crystals, but the Oris has a 20 millimeter strap that tapers down to like 13 point something mil, so just under 14 mil. And the CW has a 22 mil strap. So I think the lug width here also makes this 41 mil Christopher Ward on the right look a little bit bigger. But I will say, when you go to the case shape, that you can see that they're both kind of sleek. In fact, the Christopher Ward is even a little bit smoother because it's got the undercut here that the Oris doesn't have. But these are these vintage style divers, and they just wear great. When they're on the wrist, it really, really hugs down into your wrist, much more so than even this does. So these two are both about the same height. Okay, they're both 11 point something mil thick, but this case on the right, the way that it's shaped and the way that it's designed and the way that I mean, can I see it on camera? The way that the tooling is done to give it that shape, this 41 mil is going to wear so much thinner than this slab side kind of box type of case. It's just the way it is, even though they're the same height. They're the same height, but that's just the way it is. And it looks that way too. It looks that way. So anyway, the last comparison I want to do real quick, and y'all might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to be loaning this beautiful blue Sinn 104 out to my buddy too, because I want him to be able to compare these two side by side. And this is the Sinn 104 limited edition. I don't know, I think highly sought after. I love it. I think the Sinn 104 is one of the best watches ever made, especially at the price point. Oh, and I should warn you, price points on these, because they're limited edition, are a little overinflated. But you can see here that the case shape and design, very, very different. They wear differently. They do. Again, the Sinn has this slab side over here, so it's definitely not as curvaceous as this CW is. But when you look at the lume and the thing, the Sinn has a much, much, much richer blue. And in fact, so if you have this watch and you love it, don't ever put it next to a blue Sinn 104, because you're going to go, oh, I want a Sinn now. That's what happens. You're fine. Oh, I see this. It's like if you don't ever eat filet mignon, you never know how good it is, and you're okay eating flank steak. But it's like, oh, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this blue one, and I like this. Like, this really looks good. And then somebody goes, oh, but here is some filet mignon, sir. And you're like, oh, I don't ever want to eat flank steak no more. So, yeah, not to say that you can't have both, you can't appreciate both. They definitely have different stylings. This has, the Sinn has more of a sunburst effect, even though it has that dark, deep texture to it. When the light hits it, it shines. And if you don't like shiny, then you might appreciate the matte texture of that Christopher Ward. You will notice that the color or shade of the vintage style luminescent is different on the two, and it might just be personal aesthetic, which you prefer. I do think the application of it is better on the Sinn, but overall I think the Sinn is a much better watch than the CW. And I think that, they're also technically in different price tiers from new. I mean, new, this was about $1,400. They're probably trending around $1,900 to $2,000 right now because of the limited edition. The Christopher Ward is like a $900 watch that you can get for about $500. And so it's weird how that works, but these are kind of in different price tiers and categories. So, but I just wanted to put them all up next to each other. Let you see what you do not like about the ones. Let me ask y'all, if you had to pick between one of these, Oris, Christopher Ward, and Sinn, what would you go with? Because the Oris and the Sinn are much closer priced to each other. And if you take Christopher Ward at its word and do the 900, here, let me even do this. Let me put that one down. Let me pick this one up. So this one in the middle is the automatic. It's currently, not on sale or anything. It's $965 on the website. And so these are all kind of getting closer in price tier now, if you don't take the overinflated nature of the blue Sinn 104. So, of these three, what do you think? Pros and cons, which would you pick? Are you a quote-unquote fanboy of one or another? I'm not a fanboy of anything. Well, I'm a fan of those things that deserve being a fan of, but it doesn't matter what it is. Definitely is not based on name, brand, or some marketing scheme. But what would you pick out of these? I love them all. If I had to narrow it down, the Christopher Ward would probably be the first to go. The Oris would probably be the second to go. And this blue Sinn would probably stay in my collection. But what do you think? All right, that's it for that one. As usual, if you have a question that I didn't cover in the video, please drop it down in the comment section, and I will try to get back to you. And until we talk again, please remember what really matters. And that's not watches. Keep the insanity sane, my friends.